You get the email on a Thursday afternoon. Subject line from HR, compensation update. And before you even open it, your brain starts doing math faster than a calculator with anxiety. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the raise that finally gives you room. You open the email. Congratulations. Your new salary is $92,000. For a second, you just stare at it. Not because you're ungrateful, because that number means something. Maybe you can finally stop checking your bank account before buying groceries. Maybe you can pay down the credit card balance that has been hanging around like an unwanted roommate. Maybe you can build the emergency fund you keep promising yourself you'll start after things calm down, even though things have apparently signed a long-term lease on not calming down. Maybe, for once, the paycheck will feel bigger than the month. And for the first few weeks, it does. You breathe a little easier. You stop feeling guilty about ordering dinner on a Wednesday. You replace the couch that has been slowly collapsing into a furniture-shaped apology. You move from the apartment with the loud upstairs neighbor to the place with better light, a gym you swear you'll use, and a washer and dryer that do not require quarters, prayers, and emotional resilience. Nothing feels crazy. Nothing feels reckless. You earned more. So life got a little better. Then, 3 months later, you open your checking account. Available balance, $246. Payday is 4 days away. The credit card balance did not really go down. The car insurance renewal came in higher. The new apartment costs more than you wanted to admit, and somehow, the raise is gone. Not stolen, not wasted in one dramatic mistake, just absorbed. That is the trap. Welcome to Decodes Money. Today, we're decoding the lifestyle inflation trap and why earning more money does not automatically make you richer if your life gets more expensive at the same speed. Now, let's be fair. Wanting your life to improve after a raise is normal. If you worked for it, waited for it, negotiated for it, handled the extra responsibility, and smiled through emails that should have been phone calls, of course you want to feel the difference. This is not about living like a monk forever. It is not about eating beans in the dark while your salary goes up. The point is not never enjoy your money. The point is to understand the hidden rule. A raise only makes you richer if part of it survives your new lifestyle. That is the paycheck absorption trap. It happens when income rises, but spending rises just fast enough to erase the freedom. You make more, but you also become more expensive to maintain. So the raise was real, the wealth was not. Here is the first number people get wrong. A $10,000 raise does not mean you suddenly have $10,000 of new freedom. It also does not mean you have $833 extra dollars every month to play with.
That is just 10,000 divided by 12. Real life is less polite. Taxes come out, benefits may change, retirement contributions may increase, health premiums may shift. Depending on your state, tax bracket, payroll deductions, and benefits, a $10,000 raise might feel more like $500 or $600 a month in take-home pay. Still meaningful, but not magic. And $500 can disappear quietly. 2 more restaurant meals a week, a slightly nicer car payment, a higher rent renewal, a new gym membership, a phone upgrade, a few "we deserve this" purchases, a weekend trip that goes on the card because the hotel was already booked. Nobody wakes up and says, "Today I will destroy my raise." It happens in little permission slips. You say yes to one normal upgrade, then another, then another. And by the time you notice, your old paycheck problems have moved into a nicer apartment. That is why the wrong number is salary. The real number is margin. Not what you earn, what survives. After rent or mortgage, after car payments, after insurance, after groceries, after childcare, after debt payments, after the subscriptions that somehow reproduce when you are not looking, after Target does what Target does, after one normal life surprise shows up wearing boots and tracking mud through your budget. What is left? That number is your real raise. If your salary went up but your margin did not, your financial life did not really move forward. It just got better lighting.
This is why lifestyle inflation feels so confusing. From the outside, you look like you're doing better. Better apartment, better car, better restaurants, better clothes, better vacation photos. But inside the checking account, nothing feels better. The stress is still there. It just has nicer furniture now. And this is where people start blaming themselves. They say, how am I making more and still broke? But most of the time, it is not one stupid purchase. It is a structure. A raise creates relief. Relief creates permission. Permission creates upgrades. Upgrades create fixed costs. And fixed costs quietly claim the raise before it becomes wealth. That is the lifestyle creep leak. Your paycheck is a bucket. A raise pours more water into it. But every new fixed cost drills another small hole near the bottom. A higher lease, a bigger car payment, a new monthly plan, a payment plan for furniture, a larger insurance premium, a few subscriptions you barely notice. The bucket is getting more water, but the holes are getting bigger too. So the water level never rises. And the person holding the bucket feels insane because they can see more money going in. They just cannot feel more money staying there. Once you see the leak, you can stop blaming the raise for not saving you. The raise was not the problem. The problem was that the raise never received a job. It arrived in the paycheck with no assignment. And unassigned money usually gets absorbed.
If this already explains where your raise went, subscribe. Decodes Money breaks down the money traps that look normal from the outside. Now, the first step is seeing the raise as money that needs protection. Because if you do not give the raise a mission, your lifestyle will. Let's talk about Erin. Erin is 36, lives in Arizona, and after years of feeling underpaid, she finally gets a better job. Her old salary was $72,000. Her new salary is $88,000. That is a $16,000 raise. On paper, it looks like a turning point. Emotionally, it feels like one. She tells herself, okay, finally, I can breathe. And for a while, she does what most normal people would do. She does not buy a boat. She does not start collecting designer handbags. She does not decide her dog needs a personal chef. She just upgrades the parts of life that have been annoying her for years. Her apartment lease is ending, so she moves into a nicer place. Not a luxury penthouse, just a safer neighborhood, better parking, in-unit laundry, fewer mystery stains in the hallway, and a kitchen where two people can stand without negotiating air rights. That costs $380 more a month. Her old car has been fine, but it is old enough that every dashboard light feels like a threat. So she trades it in and gets something newer. The payment goes up by $240 a month. Insurance adds another $70. She starts saying yes to dinner with friends more often because, honestly, she spent years saying no. That is another $150 or $200 a month. She adds a couple subscriptions, upgrades her phone plan, buys clothes for the new job, and lets the grocery cart get a little more relaxed. Nothing here is wild. That is the important part. Every decision has a reasonable explanation. The apartment is safer. The car is more reliable. The dinners are social connection. The clothes are for work. The phone is practical. The groceries are not champagne and caviar. It is just better coffee, the good eggs, and the strawberries that somehow cost like they went to graduate school. This is why lifestyle inflation does not feel like a trap while it is happening. It feels like finally not being punished for working hard. But now look at the math. Erin's $16,000 raise does not land in her checking account as $1,333 a month. After taxes, payroll deductions, and benefits, maybe it shows up closer to $850 or $950 more per month. Still real, still helpful. But the apartment takes $380. The car takes $240. Insurance takes $70. Eating out takes $180. Subscriptions and small upgrades take another $80 or $100. Suddenly, almost the entire raise has been assigned to a more expensive version of the same life. And here is the painful part. Erin does not feel irresponsible. She feels normal. She is current on bills. She is not missing payments. Her credit score may look fine. She likes her apartment. She likes her car. She likes not feeling broke every time a friend says, "Want to grab dinner?"
but her savings account is not growing. Her credit card balance is not shrinking. Her emergency fund is still stuck at the same sad number it had before the raise. And 6 months later, she says the sentence lifestyle inflation teaches people to say. I don't understand where the money went. The money went into fixed costs. That is the key. Lifestyle inflation becomes dangerous when temporary relief turns into permanent obligations. A nicer dinner is one thing. A higher lease is different. A weekend trip is one thing. A bigger car payment is different. A new pair of work shoes is one thing. A payment plan is different. Because fixed costs do not ask how your month is going. They do not care that your hours changed, your bonus was smaller, your kid needed dental work, or your insurance renewal came in rude. They just show up. And once a raise becomes fixed costs, you have to keep earning the higher income just to stay in the same emotional place. That is how people become trapped at a higher income. They do not feel richer. They feel required. Required to keep the job. Required to keep the schedule. Required to tolerate the manager. Required to stay in the role because the new lifestyle now needs the new paycheck. This is the part nobody tells you when they say, you deserve it. Maybe you do. Maybe Erin did deserve the safer apartment, the better car, the dinners, the clothes, the relief. But deserving something is not the same as being protected by it. That is the psychological trap. Lifestyle inflation does not usually begin with arrogance. It begins with exhaustion. You get tired of always choosing the cheaper thing. Tired of checking the menu before saying yes. Tired of hoping the old car starts. Tired of living in the apartment where the laundry room smells like wet pennies and broken dreams. So when more money finally arrives, your brain does not say, let's optimize long-term household margin. Your brain says, can we please stop suffering in high definition? That is human. That is why this trap works. The raise arrives as relief, not strategy. And relief wants to spend. Strategy wants to assign. Those two are not enemies. But if relief gets the first vote every time, strategy never sees the money. Now add social pressure. When your income rises, your environment often rises with it. Coworkers go to nicer restaurants. Friends suggest pricier trips. Family assumes you are doing better. Your own standards change. The old apartment starts feeling embarrassing. The old car starts feeling like proof you are behind. The cheap furniture you lived with for years suddenly looks like it is judging you. Nobody has to force you. The new income quietly changes what feels normal. And normal is expensive. That is the lifestyle creep leap.
Not one huge hole, a dozen small ones. And the most dangerous holes are the ones you stop noticing. The streaming services, the upgraded gym, the convenience food, the delivery fees, the nicer grocery defaults, the little Amazon orders that feel too small to count, the insurance increases attached to the new car, the higher rent that seemed fine because the raise was coming. By themselves, they are not dramatic. Together, they are the raise. So what should Erin have done differently? Not nothing. That matters. This is not about freezing your life at the old income forever. If your income rises and your quality of life never improves, you will eventually resent your own financial plan. A good plan needs room for joy. But the raise needed a mission before the lifestyle got one. If Erin had automatically sent even $400 of the new take-home pay into savings, debt payoff, or retirement before upgrading anything, her life would have changed differently. She still could have enjoyed part of the raise, but she would have protected the part that made her freer. That is the difference between lifestyle improvement and lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle improvement is when spending rises after security rises. Lifestyle inflation is when spending rises instead of security.
And once you see that difference, the question changes. It is not, can I afford the upgrade? It is, what part of my raise am I keeping before I upgrade? Because if the answer is none, the raise is not building wealth. It is just financing a more expensive version of stress. So how do you keep a raise from disappearing? You have to catch it before your lifestyle does. Because once the new money blends into your checking account, it becomes hard to tell where it went. It becomes groceries. It becomes dinner. It becomes a nicer apartment. It becomes a better car. It becomes just this once. It becomes we've had a long week. It becomes one more monthly payment that feels small by itself and permanent once it is signed. Unassigned money gets absorbed. So here is Dean's raise survival rule. Before you spend the raise, split the raise. Not after 3 months. Not after you see how things go. Before. Because I'll save what's left is how raises vanish. There is usually nothing left. First, calculate the real raise. Not the salary increase, the take-home increase. If your salary went up by $16,000, do not build your life around $1,333 a month. Look at the actual paycheck. Maybe the real increase after taxes, benefits, retirement contributions, and payroll deductions is $900 a month. That is the number, not the headline number, the paycheck number. Second, give the first piece to freedom. This could mean emergency savings, credit card payoff, student loan principal, a Roth IRA, a 401k increase, a high-yield savings account for a house, a baby, a move, a career change, or just the ability to sleep through one ugly month without panic. The exact destination depends on your life, but the purpose is the same. Part of the raise must become harder to spend, because if every dollar stays easy to reach, every dollar becomes easier to justify. For Erin, maybe $400 of her new $900 take-home increase should have been sent automatically somewhere useful before she ever saw it. That still leaves $500. Not nothing. This is not punishment, it is protection. Third, cap the fixed cost upgrades. This is where most lifestyle inflation becomes dangerous. A celebration dinner will not usually wreck your future. A permanent payment can. A weekend trip might be expensive. A higher lease follows you home. A new outfit is one decision. A new car payment is a contract. So before you upgrade anything monthly, ask, would I still want this payment if my raise disappeared? That sounds dramatic, but jobs change. Bonuses shrink. Hours get cut. Childcare changes. Insurance renews higher. Life does not care that the upgrade felt reasonable when the HR email was fresh. If the new fixed cost needs the entire raise to survive, it is not an upgrade. It is a dependency. Fourth, use the 90-day delay. When your income goes up, wait 90 days before making any big lifestyle change. Not forever. 90 days. Let the new paycheck arrive. Let the taxes settle. Let the deductions show up. Let the excitement cool down. Let your real budget reveal itself. This delay separates desire from impulse. Maybe after 90 days you still want the nicer apartment. Fine. But now you are choosing it with real numbers, not raise energy. Raise energy is dangerous. Raise energy says, I work hard. I deserve this. Future me will figure it out. Future you is tired of being assigned homework by present you. So give future you a break. Wait 90 days. Fifth, upgrade joy before you upgrade obligations. A lot of people think the only choices are either blow the raise or save every penny. That is why they fail. They try to be perfect. Then they feel deprived. Then they snap and buy something bigger than what they would have bought if they had planned for joy in the first place. So give part of the raise permission. Maybe $100 a month for dinners. Maybe $150 for hobbies. Maybe a weekend trip fund. Maybe replacing the thing in your home that annoys you every single day. Enjoyment is not the enemy. Uncontrolled fixed costs are the enemy. A raise should make your life better. It just should not make your life more fragile. That is the line. Now here's the warning. Do not take this idea too far. If you get a raise and refuse to improve anything, you may create a different problem. You may save more money, but live with constant resentment. You may burn out. You may start feeling like the only reward for working harder is a bigger spreadsheet. That is not healthy either. Money is supposed to support a life, not replace one. So yes, enjoy some of the raise. Buy the dinner. Replace the couch that has been trying to become a hammock. Take the small trip. Get the running shoes. Move if the old place is unsafe or genuinely wearing you down. But make the order right. Security first, then upgrades. Margin first, then lifestyle. Freedom first, then nicer things. That order is what separates a raise from a trap. Because once fixed costs rise, they are hard to shrink without pain. You can cancel a subscription. You can cook at home more. You can stop buying coffee out. But if you signed a higher lease, financed a bigger car, or built your normal life around the new paycheck, reversing that is not just a budget change, it is a lifestyle downgrade. And people hate lifestyle downgrades. That is why the best time to fight lifestyle inflation is before it becomes normal, before the new apartment feels standard, before the bigger car feels necessary, before the nicer restaurants feel like your real life, before the raise disappears into a version of you that costs more to maintain. So let's decode the rule. The raise is not the wealth. The part of the raise you keep is the wealth. The wrong number is salary. The real number is saved margin. If your income rises by $16,000, but your fixed costs rise by $15,000, your life did not become much freer. It became more expensive. If your paycheck gets bigger, but your emergency fund does not, your debt does not shrink, your investments do not grow, and your stress does not fall. The raise may have improved your lifestyle without improving your life. That is the lifestyle inflation trap. It does not feel reckless. It feels earned. It feels normal. It feels like finally breathing. But if the raise does not create margin, it can quietly turn into a nicer version of paycheck to paycheck. So next time your income goes up, pause before your lifestyle votes. Ask 5 questions. What is the real take-home increase? How much of it will I save automatically? What fixed costs am I about to add? Can I wait 90 days before upgrading? And what part of this raise can I enjoy without making my future less free? That is the balance. Not deprivation, not chaos. A raise should give you more options, not just more expensive obligations. It should make you harder to break. It should give your future self more room, not just your present self more receipts. So enjoy the raise, but protect it first. Because the money you do not assign will be assigned for you. And your lifestyle is very good at filling out the paperwork. If this helped you see where raises really disappear, subscribe. Decodes Money is here to decode the hidden money rules before they quietly cost you.